You know what it is, you know who it is, and y'all know where it is. This Deuce the Scoop checking in from the ATL, the big dog Chico from the middle of the ocean. And yours truly, Uncle Neely from Boulder, where it's colder. Look, we're going to be talking the trenches today. We got the three offensive line coaches, plus a player coming on live with the pressers. And we're going to break down this past weekend scrimmage. Coach Carl Reed joined as well. The morning run.
Good morning, and welcome once again to the morning run. Uncle Neely, Big Dog Chico,
Sure.
Duke Scoop. Southside made him. Jackson made him, and the 2-7 made me. We out this thing giving it to you live and direct. Got the whole nation covered, East Coast to the far West Coast, man. We're going to give you this live presser right here, straight from Folsom Field, featuring the Trench Dogs. We got George Hegamin, Andrew Gurode, and Gunnar White, the coaches of the offensive line. And also Xavier Hill, the big fella, newcomer coming in from Memphis. He will join. And also we got Coach Carl Reed, the legend out of St. Louis, joining us. Also, Duke Scoop, what's happening? How you doing? Talk to us.
Oh, man, slow motion, but like always, slow motion better than no motion. I'm glad to be here today.
That's right. Uncle Neely, appreciate you. How you doing?
Man, doing good, man. Blessed to be on this side of dirt. Beautiful weather here in Boulder. It probably ain't 80, 82 degrees, man. Little cloud overcast, great practice, energetic team meeting this morning from Coach Prime. We're just ready to get at it, man.
That's right. Too blessed to be stressed out here, man. So before the presser starts, we can kick things off and talk about some good old Colorado football. Had the scrimmage this Saturday. We'll go there first, and then we'll jump off and let Duke's point guard this thing. Let's talk about the scrimmage Saturday. Starting with you, Unc. Tell us what you saw.
All's well that ends well. I thought the scrimmage ended well. I thought it was an up-tempo, energetic practice in the back half. But having said that, it was slow starting, a little sloppy at first with penalties. Dukes, Chico, I'm willing to chalk that up to the end of week 3. Guys are tired of hitting each other, chomping at the bit to hit somebody in a different color uniform. I watched Georgia Tech's head coach press conference. Had the same issues at his scrimmage Saturday. He left there, not satisfied, saying that the guys did not look ready to play, et cetera, et cetera. Our first half of the scrimmage was a little loose and sloppy. Coach Prime, said, hey, let's huddle up. Let's hit this reset button. And I think after that, the guys got dialed in at today's practice. It was almost like that calm before the storm, Dukes, because he set the tone today and said, hey, today is the first official day of what's getting ready for Georgia Tech. You can sense guys are more locked in, going through these installs, identifying who's the scout team. All these things are starting to take place and shape up this week. But the scrimmage, Chico, got out of there injury-free as far as that particular scrimmage goes. And I think the guys ended on a good note to start this week.
Nice. Big plays from some running backs. Saw, of course, the track hawk, the Kaylon Taylor. Also saw some big plays from the wide receivers out there going up to get it. Williams and Hakeem and a few other guys making plays. Isaiah Hart, that switch arm and knife coming out of the backfield and making plays at the receiver position. Dukes, what are you most excited about on this Colorado football team after the scrimmage?
I think I'll say offensive line play. I think that's what excites me the most about this year's Colorado, this year's iteration of the Buffaloes, being able to have an offensive line that's so big that just flat out, there's no other way to say it. They're bigger than the majority. I think they have the biggest offensive line from top to bottom in the Big 12. So I think when you combine that with how many starts they have, the experience they have, and then just the overall athletic profile that they have, Larry Johnson is probably, outside of Jordan Seaton, the guy that I'm looking forward to the most. I know Xavier Hill is, the NFL scouts know what he is, but Larry Johnson is a guy we always talk about guys and how they're put together as far as do they fit the profile of their position. Larry Johnson is probably one of the most athletic looking offensive linemen that you've ever seen. And Chico, you can attest to this. A lot of times you got guys on the offensive line that could also play tight end. When you see him, he's like, you know what, this guy's athletic enough. If you wanted to make him a third tight end in heavy sets, he could be the guy. I think that fits Larry Johnson, and as the offensive line as a whole has been opening up a lot of lanes for these running backs to be able to get off on. Pause. So I think that's where I'm really most excited is to see. We've been hearing about the run game all off season. I think now is the time that we get to see that come to fruition.
Yeah, that'll be a big right side right there with him at the right tackle spot and just anchoring that run game. Whether you have Kareem Harden next to him or a big Zy Chrysler, that's a huge offensive line with Larry Johnson right there. He looked well when I saw him on Jordan Seaton's new video that came out where they're working with Trent Williams down there at his camp. He looked like a man child. Shout out to him too. So yeah, I'm excited about the offensive line too, man.
Let me tell you something, man. You know, everybody thinks Chico nickname is Chico, but that's really his real name. His real name is Chico.
That's a fact.
You know, Deuce the Scoop, his nickname is the Scoop. His real name is Phillip. Nigga, where you going with that? Let me tell you where I'm going with that. Do y'all know what Larry's nickname is? Big. He's just big. It's Big Larry. And when I tell you he lives up to his damn nickname, like Big Larry is big. He's going to make some noise on this offensive line. I'm with you, Dukes. I think as the team goes, will be predicated on how this offensive line goes. And I think this offensive line has the depth and talent to be one of the most dominant offensive lines in the Big 12, if not college football in general. Even now, you got some guys who are banged up. You know, nothing too serious. I think Rock is probably the most serious where he's going to miss a couple of weeks of the season. But most of the guys just nursing a little injury here and there, like a Zy Chrysler, those guys will be back playing. And even though you got about 4 or 5 not practicing right now, you can't tell from practice that they're out because the rest of it is still so deep and talented. And that's something that wouldn't have occurred last year or the year before that. I tell people who will listen and appreciate y'all out there listening, you give Shedeur Sanders this offensive line that we have this year, we're not only in the Big 12 championship, we win it.
Definitely. A lot more protection and a lot more running the ball behind his offensive line.
And Chico, you teased something up earlier. We talk about the scrimmage. Let me just put the world on notice. The Trackhawk is going to make a big play. He's going to make a big play this season. He's going to make a big play in more than one game. Isaiah Harge, same thing. He's going to make a big play. These guys showed out in this weekend's past scrimmage. You know, that you really didn't hear a lot of talk about Harge because this whole new receiving room is in here. And then with Trackhawk coming in, you know, hadn't been a lot of talk about him was transferring in what he brings to the table. But their speed is phenomenal. What they do with the ball after the catch or after the handoff, you're going to see some big plays from those two.
Most definitely. Talk to him, Dukes.
Now, I had a question for Unc. Unc, you've been with Coach Prime. This is what, the year 5, 4? What fall camp is this for you? 6.
6.
This is fall camp number 6. Outside of Coach Prime not having his children with him, what's the biggest difference that you've seen this year at the end of fall camp than in previous years?
You know, Dukes, great question. But I don't know if there's been much of a difference because every year, no matter what he accomplishes, last year ain't good enough. And last year no longer matters. I remember Jackson State going undefeated in conference, and he was mad that we didn't win enough by big enough scoring margins, and he made changes at offensive coordinator because we weren't dominant enough. Now, we went undefeated. Second year, undefeated in conference, get to the Celebration Bowl again. He makes changes because we weren't being dominant. And like you heard him at the kickoff event, he was like, look, I wasn't specific enough with God. I talked to the Lord, and I said the goal for last year was to get Miss Peggy to a bowl game, and we got there. He said, man, that ain't good enough. We got to go there and win this year. So if we don't get to a bowl game and win, we have failed as a season because we've already proven we can get there. So his whole mindset is not about, you know, hey, man, we're a pretty good team. We won 9 games last year. He ain't even talking about last year. It's like, look, we got to come together this year. We can no longer be the most penalized team in the Big 12. We've got to be able to establish to run the ball. And we've got to show that from the start of the game, which was one of his frustrations this past scrimmage, we can't start slow. We can't go out there and waste possessions. We got to go out there and start scoring the first time we touch the ball.
I love it. And I think that's going to go a long way because one other thing, you know, the biggest knock on Coach Prime so far is what happens after you have the great season, the postseason. And I think this is the year that the Buffaloes get it done and Coach Prime gets it done. And I think that attitude that he takes is going to be paramount to him actually achieving that goal. And I think he said he had to be more specific with God. Well, that's the man you want to be specific with for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you this, man. Let me point out a fun fact to y'all that a lot of people know but don't know that they know it. Like I said, this is my 6th season with Coach Prime. We did a spring COVID season, Jackson State, 2 regular fall seasons. So that's 3. Then we've done 2 here, Colorado, regular fall seasons. So this is going into the 6th one. Guess what Coach Prime has never done?
What?
He's never won his last game.
And he always won his his season openers
we've always
too, right?
we've always won the season opener, but we've never won the final game of the season.
Okay.
Like we lost the Celebration Bowl to Jackson State both years. Lost this bowl game here to BYU this year. Like we've yet to go out with a win, and that bothers him. That bothers him. That's why he makes changes at strength and conditioning. That's why he makes changes, bringing in guys, you know, like a Warren Sapp to be a pass rush coordinator, expanding Brett Bartolone's role to be a passing, overall passing offense coordinator, not just coaching the tight ends, because he knows you got to win the last game.
Right.
They remember. They remember November.
Bars.
Yes, indeed. We want you guys to remember to go to the website to check it out too. unclechico.myshopify.com. Although it says Uncle Chico, it includes all of us. Maybe we'll change the name soon, maybe not, or just add another website. Damn. But we do have Unc's merch. We have Duke's merch. We got Big Dog Chico merch, and we have more merch coming on there. Just go on there and check it out and get you some. Support the brand. Y'all know what it is. Use that code TMR10 also to get you 10% off at checkout right now. UncleChico.myshopify.com and get you some.
I always love the way you think out loud live on the show, Chico.
That's fine. This is a live show.
I said I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, you can let that play right there, man.
Let that play? All right.
Yeah.
My
Shout out to Coach
dog.
David Kelly.
Yeah, let it play where they can hear it.
My bad. Hey, look, let me say that.
It's like Coach Prime with God. I should have been more specific. Like
there you go.
I ain't mean just let it play. Let it play where they can hear it.
Hey, shout out to this camera work also, man. That's a nice camera right there you got.
Coach, at the close of week 3, and less than 14 days away from the first home game here on Folsom, what makes this particular scrimmage so important?
Well, I tell you, typically most schools around the country, they're going to have that final tune-up scrimmage before the first game. We're, like you said, we're basically 2 weeks out now, even though we open up on a Friday night. So at this point, we will specifically get into preparation for our first game start at the beginning of next week. So we're using this kind of as the summary, the conclusion of training camp, even though it won't be the end of training camp, but the conclusion of all the installation. Evaluation will continue in that regard. But for the most part, we know now we got to hone in on getting prepared for that first game and who we're going to utilize at this point. Now, will players still have the chance to improve their stock based on where they are? That's continuous throughout the year. And as I was telling our players the other day, it's interesting, but a stat. When we started out the season last year, our original scout team, 61% of those players played at a game at some point during the season. So please understand, this is just the commencement, the beginning of a process of a 16-game season for us. But because this will be the last truly physical contact type experience that we have, that's what makes it important, because it's going to be difficult to be honest, to move up the chain prior to that first game with what we're going to be doing over the next 2 weeks.
So it sounds like that If you need to make a statement, today is the day to make it.
Today is the day, you know, and the thing that I like about Coach Prime, everyone, every player, every coach, every staff member has had ample opportunity to state their case at whatever it is that they are trying to put forth. So this is the conclusion. This is the final exam. From here, we move forward.
Couple things he touched on there, Chico, that I want to underscore. He talked about the scout team last year and how eventually 61% of the players on the scout team made it up the roster and participate in games. You know, a lot of people get frustrated with scout teams. They look at it as a demotion. And you really have to look at it as the opportunity, because who do the scout team go against in practice? They go against the ones. And if you can't prove yourself competitive or dominant against our ones, why would we think you're going to be dominant and competitive against an opponent's ones? So it's
Right.
really an amazing opportunity for players, you know, to move up and solidify a spot in the coming days, weeks, and months as the season goes on. The other thing he touched on there is that, you know, and I talked to him about being the day to make a statement to prove your worth. Coach Prime underscored that this morning in the team meeting, and he called out the coaches, the video team, like everybody in here. You have to prove you're an asset to this team. Or why are we gonna take you on the road? Why are we gonna have you around? Like, if you're not contributing, if you're not elevating the standard, if you're not upholding the standard, we don't need you in here. And so, as Coach Kelly said, the general
feel it.
manager, this is not just a player thing. This is an organizational thing.
Mhm.
What you call it?
That's-
Top grade in Dukes.
Absolutely.
That's why they're so selective in who they're bringing in. Like Coach Kelly said when Dukes interviewed him just the other day on the morning run, he said they are so selective because you got to bring in guys that's going to fit with the program also, not just talented guys. And I think Coach Prime touched on that in the meeting that you posted today too, about having highly productive guys, but they're not dependable, you know, or accountable, you know. So we'd rather have somebody who's going to be dependable and accountable and be productive like that, and find that person and have that person as a part of the team also.
Absolutely. I was talking to a guy from the Minnesota Vikings last year, and they had 2 years ago, actually, they had a quarterback controversy. And I asked him, you know, who's going to play? And he said, the guy who you trust the most. Now, that doesn't mean it's the most talented guy, but a guy who does something that's not on the script will get you fired. You know, so you're going to go with the guy you trust, regardless of if the talent level is close, you go with the guy you trust. It could be a little further out. That guy may not be as talented, but you're going to go with the guy who sticks to the program. And, you know, like, you know, the buzzword right now on social media is nobody's bigger than the program. And I think that doesn't reign true for anybody in the Colorado Buffaloes.
I mean,
I love that, Dukes. In today's meeting, you know, a lot of the coaches are graduate assistants. They stand along the wall. A lot of the staff stand along the wall while the players sit. And so he pointed out today, he being Coach Prime, I'm not just talking to the people sitting, I'm talking to the people standing. Like, you got to want to elevate. Like, you should want to be more than this.
right.
You know, you should want to go to the next level, not just help these young people fulfill their dreams to get to the next level. What are you doing to get to the next level? I'm looking at everybody. I'm holding everybody accountable. Like, you have to want to move up in this world. You have to perform in a manner that shows you are capable of moving up, because people need to trust you. So can we trust you to do your job and excel at your job? Because it's going to take we have a more talented team. We have a deeper team, but this is a team that needs everybody to win.
Right. There you go. Shout out to Big Jersey right here. Speaking of not being bigger than the program, might not be bigger than the program, but he might be bigger, larger than everybody in the program. That's Big George Hegamin. Got him triple teaming with the offensive line, Coach Gunnar White and Coach Andre Gurode. We'll see them shortly. But you've been seeing them up close and personal, Uncle Neely. Talk about how this triple team has been working together to bring out the best in his offensive line.
You know, man, I by no means, Chico, you asked me last night who was my NBA team, and I had to tell you historically it was the Knicks. But there's no way I could give Jordan and Pippen all that credit and not talk about Phil Jackson, who put that triangle together. And so when I look at this triangle in this offensive line room, I got to first start with the tip of the spear, Deion Sanders, who had the wisdom and the foresight to say, no, you know what? I'm going to bring in 3 guys and they're going to work together and get this done because they each bring something unique to the table. You got Gunnar White, who's been with Coach Prime since Jackson State. You got George Hegamin, who's been with him since the days of the Cowboys and know him well. Same thing with Andre Gurode, who played with the Cowboys. So when I watch these 3 guys operate, they even know and will kid each other about who is the better teacher of a particular drill. And so you will see Coach Dre Gerard having them on the octagon doing footwork, but when it comes to the sled, they'll be with Big George. And then when it comes to coming under the chute, staying low, they'll be with Gunner. And so each one of them is like a no ego amigo thing. Each one of them know what they bring to the table, know how to get these players to respond. And I think it has worked well, having these guys, this 3-headed monster as the offensive line coaches, by no underestimating him. It is Gunnar White's room. He is the lead tip of the spear. He is the offensive line coach, but he relies on Big George, Big Dre, as well as the players. So it mirrors what's taking place. Sorry, y'all, truck going by, hear that noise. It mirrors what's taking place on the defense side of the ball with Hilo, Sapp, and Pecos. Like, it takes all 3 of them to corral these personalities, teach the different skill sets, forward to them what they know.
Mm-hmm. Love it, man. Love it. Dukes, what you think about that, Dukes?
Anything I would add to that would just be overkill. I mean, he nailed it. I think when you think about what all 3 people add to that group, I think Uncle Neely just pretty much he surmised everything perfectly.
Yeah, especially with him being right there, seeing it up close and personal, and being able to see their relationship behind the scenes to see how they interact with one another. Great insight right there, and we can't wait to see how that continues to produce. And I think you made a great point also. We saw the production of that pass rush and that defensive line last season, the way they had it constructed as far as the coaches with Sapp and D-Lou, and also
No live.
oh, let me get
You're so
lower
short.
on. Hold up.
You got to jump for the camera to see you. So practice is over. Chico Dukes training staff is coming up the hill as well as players. So when I see the offensive line guys come, I'll flip the camera around and get ready for the presser. But
Yes,
please
sir.
continue.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah, we're just looking at more drills right here. Got Big Jordan Seaton right there.
Big man.
The big man looking amazing. Ready to go, slim and trim. But he got some guys next to him this year. Not saying he didn't last year, but he definitely got a bunch more guys this year, I think, that more in the mode of him and more in the mode of guys who are looking to be first, second, third round picks in the NFL draft.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Jordan is walking up the hill now. He's not a part of today's pressers, but he's coming up the hill. Coach Pecco and Hilo coming up the hill. Corey Phillips coming up. Let me, matter of fact, let me go ahead and flip that camera. Y'all can see them as they're coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, get in the chat. Let us know any questions you might be having. Put it in the chat. We don't need these comments like Chico. Come on, man. I'll be killing me in the chat sometime. We're live right here on the Pregame Network. Make sure you follow Dukes the Scoop and Big Dog Chico. Y'all see our
Chico,
Instagram right there.
I'm getting ready to move. They're coming up.
All right. Let's get it on. Run them lights up.
All right, Chico.
How's everyone? Feel good?
Yes, sir.
Good. All right.
Thank you all, started.
Hi, Coach. We're talking to Coach Prime over some sports fall media today. He said the offensive line has 9 guys that can really start. What are you seeing from your room, and how do you like the progress this fall?
I love everything I'm seeing. We want to have a solid 5 on the lineup until game day. I think just because of the competition. It's been great, you know, from centers, guards, to tackles, the whole nine. Everybody's being pushed. It's good.
Coach, how have you kind of kept that continuity with your group going this preseason, even though some guys have been kind of in and out of the mix in your group?
It's just honesty, telling everybody exactly where they stand. And I think if you eliminate the gray area, everybody's going to be on board with them.
Brian, go ahead. Coach, how much of a challenge has it been, though? I think there were 7 or 8 guys that were out the other day.
Mm-hmm.
How much of a challenge is that? Getting reps for some guys, or maybe too many reps at times?
No, I don't look at it as a negative at all because, you know, we try to take care of the ones we know are vets, and then we try to develop the ones that we know are new to the program and new to college football. So they're going to need some more tread wear on their tires than the other guys too. So it's not a big deal.
Neely, go ahead.
Coach, you and your other 2 coaches in the offensive line have like amazing chemistry, even when it comes to can't forget Grant. Even when it comes to the drills, like you know, you'll see Dre over on the octagon, and big George is on the sleds, and you're on the chute. How do you guys divide up like who's best suited for what and get that synergy going?
Well, it's just a natural thing, I believe, because every day we talk and communicate about the needs of the players, and we even get their inputs of, hey, what do you want to see in Indy? What can we help you do on top of our input too? So it's a full circle deal, and we just get in where we fit in, you know. And I mean, we're pretty accustomed to doing everything, so it doesn't matter if, you know, one of us is down with the scout team, and the other 2 are with the first team doing scout looks. Like, it doesn't matter because the message is the same, and we're always on the same page.
Coach, it seems like Larry Johnson's been a nice impression despite coming in after a spring ball. What have you liked about his game that has translated to what you guys want to do?
He's a mauler, like, and the goal is to run the ball. So we got to have bodies like that, and you know, with him and Kareem and Zai and Xavier and Jordan, like, you name it, we're in a pretty good spot.
Scott, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, kind of talking about the interior of that offensive line with guys like Zeri and Zai and Xavier. What have you kind of seen from them kind of gelling on the field together? And just kind of second part of that, how cool is that those 3 guys are from your home state of Mississippi as well?
No, it's awesome, but we all brought them in here to do the same thing. You know, they're going to get together, communicate, and then whenever bullets are flying, they're always on the same page. Like, they don't even have to say anything anymore. Like, it's gotten to the point where they know how to ID the fronts, where to go, if to push it or not, and then rock and roll. So it's just everybody being consistent, I think. And it starts from the coaches on down to the players. Everybody speaking the same language.
Jack, go ahead.
Coach, improving the run game has been a big focus of this fall camp.
Yeah.
How have you seen your offensive line kind of embrace that aspect?
I mean, that's what we do, right? So if we got to do 1 or 2 things. We got to push and protect for the running back, or we got to drop back and protect for the quarterback. Like, that's in the job description, so it's expected of them, you know.
Neely, go ahead.
Coach, you grade pretty tough, but you grade fair. You've had some consistent 4s in your room. What's left for those guys to get a 5? We haven't had a 5 yet this camp.
They got to be perfect. You got to be perfect. You know, it comes from the technique standpoint too. Is if you get on a bad angle on an inside zone, or you get somebody that crosses your face that shouldn't on the outside zone, you're going to get nicked. And if you're not having a perfect day, you're not going to get a 5. But we've had about 6 days where 3 to 4 guys were about to play away from being perfect. So,
Leo, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, speed's obviously important on the offensive line room. Who's been getting off the ball the fastest to you so far in camp?
ooh. I mean, Jordan gets off the ball pretty good. Kareem gets off the ball real good. Larry, Coop. I mean, they're all competing. And I'm not mad or upset about any of them. Like, and they got GPSs on it too, so that we see how fast they go every day. And it's kind of like a competition. Even Yo-Yo gets in there and screams about it too. So it's a fun thing.
Last one for Coach Brian. Go ahead.
I want to ask you about Cooper. I think he's fairly new to snapping, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So how is he competing there with Xavier for that center spot? How's that competition going?
It's healthy, you know, and that's another main reason why we're not going to have a lineup until game day, because it's good, healthy competition, and they're very, very similar. You know, it's hard to see who's better right now because of the ins and outs. They balance each other out. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm happy with the production of the team so far. We'll see how he is.
Well, you teed this one up for me. You know, we talked about the three-headed monster, but talk about your graduate assistant coaches and who you lean on.
Oh no. He's not a GA. He's a quality control guy. Okay. So I've had him since 23. He started off as a student assistant and he's just worked his way up. And I take a lot of pride in Grant. And now he's taken over the role that I was in. And I'm very proud of him and the man that he's become because he comes from a non-traditional football route too. Like he's an engineer, you know.
Yep.
He came to CU to get his what is it, master's in
Dual master's mechanical engineering, engineering management.
Does that sound anything like football? But he was a golfer in college too, and I knew on the list of traits that he had that he was smart. He was a clean slate, so he'd learn anything that we'd know, and he was good at recruiting. So it was a no-brainer to me, and he's just following along, and the whole staff loves him, the team loves him, and the linemen love him too.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, Coach.
George, you ready?
I love him.
Appreciate
Coach George up next.
it.
Have you guys met Grant? How's it going, ladies and gentlemen?
What's going on, Coach?
Scott, you want to start us?
Yeah, sure, Coach. I wanted to ask about what you've seen from Larry Johnson, the big guy on the right tackle. Just obviously a massive guy who's played a good amount of football in the SEC. But how have you kind of seen him develop throughout the spring and the fall?
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing is like when I walk behind Larry, I know how people feel when they walk behind me. and I told him for the first time, I said, Larry, can I ask you a question? I said, do you know I finally get what people see when they're behind me now? Like he's that huge. But I think the thing that I'm seeing from him on the field is that he's doing a really good job of learning the technique that we're teaching him. You know, Larry's a big guy, plays heavy, you know, but at the same time, he's smart. He understands exactly what we're asking him to do. You know, we're seeing him be able to go in there and do some things that we're going to look for from our right tackles this year, which is good.
Appreciate you.
Coach, you're obviously around Jordan a good bit last year. Just how much different is he of a player this year after kind of all he did with his body in the offseason and just his presence in the room? It seems like it continues to grow every day.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that Jordan is so intrinsically motivated that you got to find different things to keep him going and keep him on the right track. Like the day I told him today, I said, listen, I'm seeing you turn monotony into millions every single day because the kid just wants it. He loves it. He has the type of attitude that you want out of your star left tackle. He comes out there to work every day and get better. That's exactly.
Coach, we saw you speak to the freshman class with Coach Prime last week. Just it feels like with Julian, just a lot of these guys, this is turning into a pretty special class. Just what do you see from these guys, maybe compared to other young classes that have been built?
I think the most important thing is that all of them want to play, right? And that's the biggest thing that, if you're going to come here and play with this program or be in this program, you're not expected to come in red shirt. You're not expected to come in and just do the things that most other freshmen do. We expect production out of it. And that's exactly what the meeting was all about. And I think those guys get it.
Thank you.
Xavier is someone that we talked about in the spring. How do you feel like he's developing this fall? And how is he going to potentially be in the starting lineup?
Okay, I missed the first name.
Zai.
Oh, that's my guy. Zai's my guy. Interesting fact. I just found out that Zai's birthday is 5 days from mine in probably about 25 years. But so I'm the 14th of February. He's the 19th of February. But here's the thing I've learned about him. He's another kid that really cares. What he brings to us is a ton of experience, a ton of understanding, a ton of want to and know how, something that we didn't have in years past. So we're looking for him to do awesome things as well.
Go ahead.
Coach, got a balanced question for you. You clearly coaching the offensive line, but you also still have a leadership development role.
Yep.
You'll go from working the guys on the sleds to giving the wide receivers the business in the morning. Like, how do you balance your role in that regard?
I do it for my sanity, to be quite honest with you. You got to get wide receivers before they get you, number one. But the biggest thing is, when you look at the team from a holistic standpoint, we're a family, we're a group of men out here trying to accomplish the same thing. So from that standpoint, I'm going to coach you on the technique and I'm going to coach you on the fundamentals. But the way we look at it, we're trying to develop the whole person. So with that being said, you got to do that at every stage of practice, every stage of meetings. And look, I get something out of it too, right? I'm 52 years old, but they don't make me feel that way. That's why I'm always jogging with them every day.
Brian, go ahead. Coach, you were around last year, obviously, and saw the offensive line group. It was here, a lot of different faces now. But what are you seeing that makes you believe this will be a better group overall?
Buy-in, and here's that's not a knock on anybody, even the guys that were here last year. I think our room collectively is better in terms of us understanding one another. And the biggest thing about playing O-line, I've had the fortune of playing on some awesome Super Bowl champion offensive line groups. And the thing that made us good is we cared about each other. We understood each other's work ethic, and we understood how to work together, and also how to chastise each other in a way that made you go to the next level. So that was something I feel like that we were doing, back in the old 90s when I was with the Cowboys. And I'm starting to see a lot of that with our older and our younger guys in our room now.
Two more, Leo, go ahead. Hey, Coach, last year we saw a rotation within like the guard specifically. Do you plan on having a rotation like that coming into the season as well?
The role is you always want to go in with about 8, 9 guys. I'm sorry, you guys met Grant? We'll talk about that later. But you always want to go in with about 8, 9 guys anyway, right? And then anytime you can get that many guys come in and be able to be productive, then you got something, and we feel like we're getting really close to that.
That's what also at guard, it looks like Kareem Harden's had to step up a bit in practice. Injuries, what have you seen from him so far?
Swiss Army knife, man. Reem can do a lot of really good things. If you look at him last year compared to this year, he doesn't even look like the same kid physically. I think that's helped his confidence a lot. So we're looking at Reem to be one of the guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
This is Grant, by the way.
Great, you ready?
I got you. You recording all you want to. I know. Yeah, get out there. All right. All right. Well, got the phones on here. What is this? What's going on here?
It's recording.
Upside down.
I don't know if Adam, you want to start us?
Sure, Coach. Obviously, no more 2 days. How much has camp changed since you were here as a player?
First of all, I'm going to tell you that the weather is amazing. Okay, that's the first thing. I swear it was 110 degrees when I was here in college. And I don't know if it's been global warming or whatever, but the weather is amazing now. It was extremely hot when I was here. Stupid.
Has it felt nice just kind of getting back to your old roots here?
It does. It does. It feels good to have the guys going out there, getting ready, preparing for the game. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of anticipation. So as we get ready, it's going to be, a couple tips here and there. Some, people, a couple fights. It's all part of it. Just getting ready for the game.
Thank you, Brent.
Coach Hegamin mentioned that the buy-in of this group is really prominent. From what you're seeing from this offensive line room, what's one characteristic that you see and you're like, they're going to be successful again this year?
You know what? They're resilient. They're resilient in the fact that as many changes, as many opportunities, as many challenges have been thrown at them, they pull themselves together and figure out a way to get through it. And that's the part that we really enjoy about those guys. They come in kind of like mushrooms. If you heard the old adage about mushrooms, you throw them in the dark room, throw stuff on them, watch them grow, and these guys are growing together. And we love that about them.
Nathan, go ahead.
Coach, you and your counterparts seem to have found a good balance between who coaches what. So you'll see, George on the sled or you doing the footwork drills. How did you come about deciding who was going to be the more expert at one thing or the other?
Well, everybody has a level of expertise, but I will tell you the one thing that's been very prevalent in everything that we do is everybody puts their ego aside. It's not about you. It's about what's best for the kids. And we're going to try to do whatever we need to do to make sure they get the most complete view of what they need to prepare for the game. So if I need to do this, then I'm going to do it. If George needs to do that, Gunner, Grant, whomever, we all work together to make sure everybody has the best so that they can be a complete version of themselves for the game time.
Just want to ask about Kareem Harden. It seems like he's getting a little bit more looks. Just 7-ups. What have you seen from him so far?
Kareem is he's a jack of all trades. He continues to work. He likes the challenges that are thrown out there. Some days we'll go out there and tell him he's playing on the left side. He hasn't had any reps at it. And so he'll go in, say, Coach, it doesn't matter what they ask me to do. I'm ready to play. And we appreciate that part.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, actually, one for Grant. Can you tell us about what you've actually been able to learn so far since
The ham. It's for him.
Can you say that again, please?
Yeah, what you've been able to learn from these other offensive line coaches so far?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, I'm around three guys that have a level of expertise that I'm so fortunate to learn from, right? So, Coach Gunner, I mean, I'm unbelievably grateful what he has done for me in the last 2 years. I mean, no person outside of immediate family has done so much for me, both on and off the field. And then George and Trey, I've known you for about 6 months.
I mean, still, let's talk about that 6 months. Come on, let's talk.
And then George and Dre, I mean, the NFL experience, the thing I lean off of them is their knowledge and their dictionary of drills, verbiage, the way they talk, and the way they talk to players and coach drills. It's just great for me. And then I do a lot of the observing of that part, so I can be an extension of them. So I can be like them. When players come in, we can speak similarly, use the same vocabulary, teach the same things, and then same thing on the field. They trust me to take the drills over because I've applied the time to focus what they are teaching to where they trust me so I can teach it.
What have you taught him that aspect of virtual?
We've gone over some small specifics of details and drills and things like that, but he's done a great job of making sure he's paying attention. We want to say the same thing. He knows what we're looking for, and we're actually very confident at time for him just to run the drill by himself. So he's actually done a great job. He's a great guy.
Haley, go ahead.
I got one for Grant as well. Grant, you
got 2 questions.
you've gone up.
Oh yeah.
You've gone up in the morning to give out the grade reports a couple times. Do you prefer being good cop or bad cop in the O-line room?
Tell the truth.
I prefer to be the challenger. So like I don't think, we can have good practices or bad practices, but if I'm not challenging my guys, whether it was good, like give them a pat on the back, but we can be better. Like you said, no one's gotten 5s. No one's been perfect. What do you need to do to be perfect? And then if you had a bad day, what do you need to do to make it better? And, if you were at 2, you can't go from 2 to 5 in a day, but you can go from 2 to 3. So I'm challenging the guys. I want them to develop them as men on and off the field.
All right, Brian, close us out here.
There we go.
I just want to ask you real quick. Since you got the job, how much have you heard from your former teammates and buffs about coming back here and helping to obviously restore that glory and all that stuff, and just how much you heard from them?
I can't give you a number, but I can tell you that I probably hear from my teammates once a week. The things that they've said is bring back the tradition, bring back the mindset, bring back the physical nature, keep working, do your job, make sure those guys understand how it truly feels to work and get ready for a game. And I owe those guys. I owe those guys because they're a representation of this university as well as I'm. And I'm in a position with my counterparts to make sure we do something special. And so each and every day is an opportunity, and we take it very seriously. And so those guys learn how to push through, learn how to overcome and use the rules to answer questions. And that's what we learn. And that's what we try to do every single day.
All right, thanks, coaches.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Got Coach Reed joining us now after the press conference. So far, not sure if we're going to have Xavier Hill come on, but those were the 3 coaches right there. What'd you say,
we can go back to Xavier if y'all want to. I didn't know where we were in the show.
Yeah, we're waiting on Xavier to come on, and we got Coach also.
Stand by.
Coach Reed, how you doing?
I'm good. What's going on, my brother?
Good. Appreciate you joining us.
Hey, Dukes.
Yo, what's up, Coach?
My boy Ronnie Perkins just got signed by the Atlanta Falcons today, man.
I saw that.
Yeah. We got to come turn A-Town up.
Hey, man. Hey, boy, we ready. Can't wait.
Yeah.
ATL and STL ain't number cousins, no way.
Yeah, you already know.
Well, for sure.
Already.
Man, Coach, I want to ask you something. In your experience, what gives the defense a leg up in fall camp over the offense in most situations?
It's not as much time, and they can play more instinctually. The defense should always be ahead of the offense. It's a lot of coaches around the country right now that are frustrated with their offense, but it's always that way in camp. Defense can read and react. They can use their athletic ability to run around and fly around. Offense is timing, precision. It's so much more nuanced, and I know defensive guys get upset about that, but it's much more nuanced. It's tougher to get going.
So it hasn't been, too hard. We've kind of made it a game. Who get the most reps. We're just trying to find ways to make it a positive thing and push through it. But when things go, when people get hurt, and we get to see like what's left, and like when we see that group, when we see like both groups still doing very good things, that's very encouraging for the room. It feels like we can play a lot of guys.
Exactly. Running the ball has been a big focus of camp so far. I wonder if you could talk about that aspect of your game and how much pride you take in blocking.
Running the ball makes it a lot easier to pass blocks. So just being able to get a consistent run game, first, second down. Even if we do get in third downs, it makes that even easier. So running the ball is definitely something I take pride in. It doesn't matter what's the type of run, outside zone, inside zone, counter. The whole nine. I feel like I can be effective in all parts.
Yeah, it's got a couple of young guys in Chauncey and Cardet in that room. Just what have you seen from those guys so far as they're trying to learn?
So Chauncey, speaking of Chauncey first, Chauncey is a very mature, freshman. When he plays out there, it looks like he's been doing this for 2-3 years already. That's that's all based off his work ethic, his intellect. He's a very smart kid, and I thought he's going to go good places. Cardet, he's a younger guy. Me and Cardet sit right next to each other at meetings. So, I always mess with him. That's like my little brother. But Cardet has grown a lot from day one in camp to now too. He's going to be, whenever he figures this whole college thing out and really prepares, like when he locks in, he's going to be a great player as well.
Just want to ask what you've seen from Larry Johnson. Seems like he's really been solidifying that right tackle spot. How impressed has it been for him and yourself to come in and be instant contributors despite not being here in the spring?
Me and him both come from the SEC, so we've seen seen a lot of things. So I feel like he's been very solid. He watches a lot of film. He wants to be good. He always wants to fix the little mistakes he makes every day, and I see that like as very good. He have somebody that wants to get better out there at tackle. I played that position as well, so I think he's going to do a tremendous job for it.
You mentioned you don't have to counter outside and inside zone, being comfortable with all those. Do you have a specific play or play you feel you won the best so far in this team?
I feel like my pulls on counter have been pretty good, honestly. I feel like I've been pulling pretty good no matter where it is. I feel like I've been doing pretty good in space. That comes from the drills. I've been working with Coach Dre, Coach George, all of them. They make us do like this trapezoid drill and all stuff getting my feet right. So I've been feeling really good on pulling.
Anything else for Xavier? I appreciate you.
No problem.
Appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thanks, Dad.
Big Zay Hill. That's a huge offensive line right there, you guys see. Coach Reed joining us live right now on the morning run on the pregame network. Phillip Dukes, Big Dog Chico, Uncle Neely. Just saw the offensive line coaches and one of the big guys come in, Big Xavier Hill. We're going to recap that right now. Coach Reed.
My
guy. Man, you could tell us all about the offensive line, Coach. What'd you think about this new offensive line for the Colorado Buffaloes?
Well, for us who were around in the very first spring practice, going when Coach Prime first got to Colorado, the improvements that have been made amongst the offensive line from then up until now. And we talk about Jordan Seaton a lot, when he came in as the top recruit in the country. But when you add a guy like Xavier Hill, who comes from the SEC, having been at LSU, he's been at the University of Memphis, but his development started at Olive Branch High School in Olive Branch, Mississippi.
Say that.
And guys
Say
like
that.
Neely from that part of the country understand the kind of high school program that he came out of, playing in a place like Olive Branch. So he has good football morals, and he's been developed properly. you talking about when you want to compete at the major college level, you need large human beings. And Xavier Hill is a large human being, and he's going to be able to help them in the run game, leaning on guys, putting his size on guys. I'm really excited about what he's going to bring to the table. But if you look at this offensive line now, the offensive line that Colorado has now, night and day to what was here from the very beginning when Coach Prime first took over.
I totally agree with that, Coach Reed. You look at the pedigree of where these guys have come from, the development they got at the high school level, development they got at the college level. Now the opportunity to do it on a what I call a bigger stage. I know you got guys from the SEC, but when you put Coach Prime somewhere, the spotlight is bigger than it is in the SEC. And every problem we thought we had in the past couple of years, be it fair or unfair, was dropped on the offensive line. Now, with this talent and this depth, we're going to look to see how far removed we are from that. I said early in the show, Coach Reed, I'd love to hear your opinion on it. You give Shedeur Sanders this offensive line and this depth and this talent, we're in the Big 12 championship and winning.
Absolutely, with the time you get to throw. Also, people don't realize how much the running game complements the passing game. When the defense knows they have to put people in the mix on the run game because you can get 4, 5, 6 yards of carry, it changes things. And Coach George says something in his interview that I think was key. You're looking for 8 to 9 guys. You want to go in and have 8 or 9 guys that can rotate and play. And for the first time in Coach Prime's tenure, they have that this season.
Yeah. You're on mute, Dukes.
Sorry about that. Coach Reed, how long does it usually take for an offensive line to gel? I know last year we saw like Cass Cleveland didn't become a starter until midway, almost 6, 7 games in. How long does it take to get your 5?
About 4 or 5 games in is when it really starts to hit the ground running, and you kind of start to find your identity and how you're going to run the ball. I think that's the toughest thing. Are you going to be a zone run team, inside zone, outside zone? Are you going to be a gap scheme where you run more power and counter and things like that? And those first 4 to 5 games gives you the opportunity to kind of work through that. There's also a partnership with the running backs. When you look at those drills right there, look at those guys' feet, the way that they're moving in and out of those drills, and the level of coaching that they have. Pay attention to this. 3 offensive line coaches this year at the University of Colorado. So now those guys that are playing can get maximum development because you can split them up into groups at practice and the level of coaching doesn't change. NFL experience, which is Coach Prime's calling card. Every time a staff spot comes open on staff and we talk, he says, Coach, I want NFL experience. He surrounded the players with guys that know what it's like to play, coach, and have success in the National Football League. And I think the offensive line is really going to benefit this year from the way they're being coached, the guys that have come in, and then the talent level. I think it all comes together this season.
Yeah, I love that, Coach Reed. I totally agree with your assessment there. And these big boys that tell you they want to run block. They love protecting the QB and making sure nobody touches, but they love getting those pancakes too and making sure a guy has a proper hole to run through and take one, 20, 30, 40, 50 yards. And when you look at what we got in the backfield now with, Michael Welch and the track talk transferring in, I believe that this run game, including the legs of the quarterback, are going to have these guys leading the conference in yardage on the ground.
You definitely, as an offensive lineman, want to come out running the ball. If you can get the defense moving back vertically or going east and west in the run game, it changes everything for you in the pass protection. It slows down the rush. It slows down the amount of blitzes as opposed to if you dropping back and guys are just able to peel their ears back on the rush. It also makes the screen game a major weapon. So with the running backs we have this year, the screen game is going to be a huge factor as well. When you can run the ball, when you can put guys down on the line of scrimmage, it opens up everything. And I'm going to be surprised also, Dukes and Neely, if we don't see some of those old jumbo packages that Coach Harbaugh used to run, when you start to put 7 and 8 offensive linemen in the game at the same time in short yardage and goal line situations, because the size and the power to attack at the point of attack, we finally have those bodies in place.
I love that, Coach. You know, you ain't just luck into no championship. Now you're a championship pedigree coach. You know how to build it. One of the things I've said before, and I'll keep saying, is in the years past, you want to get the ball to your best players in critical situations or just situations, period. But we know that's Shador and that's Travis. One thing that has happened in their absence, you've seen the development of running backs and tight ends and different schemes and different looks, two tight end formations, two backs in the backfield with motion. You got a lot more diversity coming at you now that's going to keep the defense from just saying, okay, all we got to do is drop back because they're going to be a passing team. With this strengthened offensive line, with the absence of a Superman and a Batman, but you got the rest of the Justice League, I think people are going to be surprised at how diverse this offense can move down the field.
Well, you're going to always have somebody step up. That's the name of the game. They've done a great job recruiting. The guys in the front office, the position coaches have done an excellent job evaluating guys and bringing in recruits. Right now, you're also in the middle of an epic quarterback battle. So you got guys that when you get the ball in their hands, they can do things with the ball. The running back room is deep. They're being coached by an NFL guy. The receiving room has a lot of versatility. They're being coached by an NFL guy. So I think what you find in situations like this, somebody will step up and be the guy. And that's one of the great things about college football. There's going to be somebody who's going to rise above the others and put the offense on his back and take it to another level. And then you got a bunch of pieces that can be explosive. You got a lot of dynamic guys. When you put those offensive skill guys out there, anybody that can touch the ball can make something happen with it. So, you know, we're going to have some guys go from being just a prospect to the main deck this year.
Coach Reed, when you look like you coming from your experience as a state championship high school head coach, also working with plenty of college and consulting with a ton of coaches, you have more experience with players, even working at 24/7. You got so much experience with evaluation of players. This roster, even though you may not see that top 10 ranking or whatever, when you go back and you look at the pedigree of this roster, it's insane. Like you look at Jordan Seaton, 5-star. You look at Xavier Hill, signed with LSU. You look at Larry Johnson, signed with Tennessee. You look at Caden Salter, top 50 player when he came out of high school. When you look at the blue chip rate of this roster, what does the pedigree of this roster say to you about how successful they can be in the Big 12?
Well, you got some guys who play some really good football. First of all, when you start to talk about offensive linemen that came from LSU and Tennessee, Brad Davis at LSU and Glenn Ellerbe at Tennessee are two of the best offensive line guys in the country. So they evaluated those guys being good enough to be potential pros in this offense. Caden Salter, what he did at Liberty, and the success that they've had at the quarterback position. The transfer portal has allowed you to be able to go and evaluate guys and get them on the second and sometimes the third chance or the third program that they're going to play in, so you can put a team together. You have guys that have played a significant amount of really good football. They have played a significant amount of good football. They come in with pro grades. I was looking at the Blesto report the other day with some of the grades that some of these guys have as pros. NFL scouts are at Colorado all the time. You got two potential first-round picks for sure in McKinney at corner and Jordan Seaton, who could potentially be the number one pick in the 27 draft, right? So it's talent all over the place, and it's going to continue to come because you have so many guys that have NFL pedigrees coaching. And if you really want to play in the league, what better place to go than a place that has coaches that have proven they can take you through that process?
And Coach, let me ask you about another layer of proof in that process. When you look at the success that the guys who were either undrafted free agents or like the receiver room that led the nation with 4 receivers being drafted, what does that say to moms and dads and high schoolers and guys who are thinking about the portal when they see the success post Colorado in the NFL?
Look at what Webster and Jimmy Horn have done. In addition to what you saw out of Shador and Travis Hunter, it's a lot of other guys who are making an impact so far in the National Football League. And what it shows you is that what Coach Prime said is true. He knows how to show you the way. He knows how to position you to be a pro. And not just on the field, but teaching you how to be on time, be a professional, how to say and do the right things. Because also these guys, in addition to being super talented, a tremendous amount of character, knowing how to go into an NFL building and a locker room and being a pro by being on time, having your work done, and staying out of the ruckus off the field. I think that they have shown with the success that they're having at the next level that it's a place, it's really an incubator for you to come in there and get what you need to be a pro when you leave out of there.
Most definitely. Hey, we're going to wrap it up at this point. We're at the hour mark. Appreciate Coach Reed for joining us. Scoop, Uncle Neely. And shout out to Darius for the footage and Uncle Neely, the pregame network for the footage. Also, get ready to check out the Buffs coming up in a couple of short weeks, man. We got Georgia Tech coming to town.
Another guy repping the
Man.
future. The big freshman who doesn't play like a freshman. McPherson, baby. Remember the name. You heard it here on the morning run.
Damn right.
I got one more before Coach Reed, before we get out of here, Dukes, Seco. Coach Reed, you're very experienced in recruiting, high school championship coach, getting guys to the next level. Where other than the morning run can you get this kind of access and information? In your experience, Coach, is there anywhere else than the morning run?
There's nowhere else, man. And you know, Coach Prime says it all the time. To get access, you must have a genuine relationship. The relationship, the loyalty, the trustworthiness, that is what grants you the access. And if you want to know everything about Colorado football, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Because these are the guys that can get you the real information. If you hear from anywhere else other than this, it may not be true. So always watch where you get your information from.
You heard it there. Need we say more? That's the way to end the plane, right, Uncle Neely?
Land the plane, baby.
Easy. Thank y'all for coming out. Y'all have a great day. Hit the like, subscribe, comment. Trench Talk right here on the morning run via the pregame network. Peace in the Middle East. Yeah, y'all.